Ian, explain to us, help us understand how and why this suspension came down the way it did.
Well, first of all, Dan, this is actually exactly what the Patriots were expecting. Talked to a couple of Patriot sources earlier today. They thought there was very little chance Tom Brady would actually be on the field for the opener. They thought it would be a multi-game suspension, maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 games, and that's exactly what it is. The harshness of the penalties for the entire organization is a little bit surprising. It's $1 million, a first-round draft pick, and a future fourth-round draft pick. Now, owner Robert Kraft had said in a statement last week that the organization planned to accept those penalties. My understanding is at this point that's still the case, but Tom Brady's on a different program. His appeal would go through the NFLPA. I'm told this is something Tom Brady is not only considering, but I would expect that he appeals this 4-game suspension. And at that point, it goes out of the NFL's hands and into the hands of an arbitrator. And we've seen several reduced suspensions over the last couple weeks. So that's one thing. Another thing, Dan, is that it is clear that Tom Brady's refusal to participate as far as how the NFL wanted him to in their investigation, not handing over his phone, that was a major factor, as was the fact that, as the Wells report outlines, they did not view him to be truthful in several instances, saying he did not know one staffer, then having several conversations with the same staffer after the AFC title game. All of those factors go into the harsh suspension of Tom Brady and these penalties for the Patriots. It's not really whether or not deflating footballs gives Tom Brady an actual advantage, and judging by the second half stats against the Colts, it doesn't. It's whether or not he went after and tried to subvert the integrity of the game, and then how truthful he was when the NFL came to question him about it.
So is this a case of the cover-up is worse than the crime itself here?
It's a case of they're all bad, is really the simplest way to say it, Dan. There was the fact that the NFL believes that Tom Brady tried to go against the rules and tried to, they believe, had probably essentially instructed people to deflate the football. That's something that the Wells report outlines. And remember, Ted Wells was commissioned by the NFL, so they basically took his ruling as fact, for lack of a better way of saying it. And then was the fact that Tom Brady was not truthful and not credible in the NFL's eyes when they were questioning him about it. He did meet with them for several hours. He did have extensive conversations, but not turning over his phone was something that the NFL obviously found serious fault in. And remember, the organization does not have subpoena power, so the best way they can urge people to participate in their investigation in the future is to do exactly what they did to the Patriots.